and they've made preparations to come to Evermore, and they are on their way. They're probably the biggest threat that Evermore has seen thus far, besides the darkness itself.
Los Lagos, World Walker. Thank you. This meeting, if you have not already been informed, is to understand the threats that we are currently up against. For those of you who are uninformed, Kyrah has recently returned from a rather unplanned trip to Aurora, where she returned with a map as well as a lineage of her family and much news of what may be to come. I will allow Kyrah to cover that. We will also go over what the Wolves' current plans are, as well as a couple of the guilds here in Evermore and what they are up to presently. And we will then discuss what our solutions may be for different issues. Kyrah, you would?
Los Lagos, friends. I'll make this brief, as I don't have a lot of strength to stand. We have enemies knocking on our door. During my time in Aurora, I learned of the beings who call themselves the Frost Lords. Trust me, they might look friendly, but they are not. They have currently enslaved my people and the elves. And they've made preparations to come to Evermore, and they are on their way. They're probably the biggest threat that Evermore has seen thus far, besides the darkness itself. However, on the good news, the Wolves, the Guild and myself had been talking about how we are going to handle this threat. At least we are forewarned this time.
Presently, the Wolves, a couple of the ones you do not see here, are watching the portal along with a couple of the Blackheart Hunters. If anything is to come through the portal, they will be there first to receive it, which was a suggestion by the World Walkers, so we thank you for that. At that point, it really is a question of how they act. If we are able to best them as they come through the portal, then we win. It's as easy as that. But it never is so easy, is it? If we are able to apprehend them without the high number of deaths, then we will of course move to a line of questioning and see where to go from there. First and foremost, this is important to the Wolves of Winter, is the apprehension of Gafruk and Ginley. We will be hoping to, if these Frost Lords come, at least use them for their information on these two individuals, so that we can finish what we started all those years ago.
As for the elves, we have made sure that they are safe. They're currently being guarded. We don't know what would happen as soon as the Frost Lords come in, if they would be under their control or whatnot. For their safety and for ours, hopefully we do not see their faces tonight.
The Frost Lords, as a summary, are the current rulers of Aurora. They are the ones that took over after the previous kingdom that my parents ran, and are now the ones that are in charge, taking over much of my parents' poor practices and creating all of their own poor practices. Their mistreatment of the world and their utter lack of respect for other individuals that inhabit the lands is what brought us to war about 15 years ago, and what brought us to near extinction, and what brought us to raid them about 30 years ago.
And they took out my family as well. As far as Courage and I are at least in agreement, we are the last of our line. Because of them.
Indeed. So, they are dangerous. They are not kind. And we will need to be very, very careful. For those of you that were here during the times of the pies, very similar things may be happening, where we'll be meeting to discuss exactly what we would like to do. Occasionally that will not happen, and we will handle things as they come, quicker rather than taking a slower approach, as my wolves hated that. So, anything further?
If you see anything suspicious, report to the Wells or to myself, and we will handle it from there. Do not engage physically with these beings. Don't underestimate them. I believe that's all I have.
That's all I have as well. Very good. Well then, over from Vinteri. Vos